All right, you guys, welcome to Activate Thursday. You know what? We have a lot of fun back here. I hope, I don't know what it really looks like when we start these recordings, but we have fun and we joke around a lot. And we're happy to be here. A little bit new format. We're in a studio this time rather than Lisa and I on opposite ends. Literally, we do a Zoom call like from 2 doors down. Like we're not even like remote. We're just doing a Zoom call from 2 offices away. But now we're together.
I know, and you can see us at the same time.
Yeah.
We're getting fancy, a little bougie.
Bougie, my favorite word. Bougie. We're getting bougie. So welcome to Activate Thursday. Jesse Allen, I'm the Senior Vice President of Product Marketing here at LifeVantage.
Lisa Barnes, VP of Research and Development here at LifeVantage.
That was a good pickup.
I know.
That was a good transition.
It's like we've been working together for a year.
Oh my gosh. Has it really been a year?
Almost exactly. Give me like a few more weeks.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Time flies. You guys, tonight we are here to talk about a recent study that was done. Well, actually, the study wasn't even that recent. We finally start talking about this study at our most recent event, which was Activate.
Yes.
But we're finally ready to talk about it, and it's the study that we did with Collagen and Nrf2.
Yes.
Protandim Nrf2. So we're going to jump into it in just a little bit. Couple of things to be aware of. These recordings that we're doing, we're going to expand how we're utilizing this content, which part of the reason that you're seeing us here in the studio. One, so that we're mic'd up, we got better sound quality, we've got better video quality. A couple of things that we're going to do. We're going to start using these recordings in the Activation Nation podcast, so you'll be able to get the content there. We also, and this one is already live, we've taken a bunch of our previous recordings and we've added them to the YouTube channel, the LifeVantage YouTube channel, and there's a playlist there that is called Activate Thursday, and you can go in and you can find a lot of our historical recordings and the historical content. So I think we've got 7 or 8 previous episodes loaded already. We'll continue to add the past. But as we move forward, you can find those. We'll still publish right here on Facebook where we are tonight. But we'll also, once the recording is done, we'll publish it to YouTube, so you can go find it there, and you can easily search within YouTube for those videos.
Yeah.
That'll be good, right?
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I'm always on YouTube looking at playlists, much more than other formats, because that's the easiest to find all your content in one place, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, and we got a lot of feedback that, it's great to publish it here on Facebook, but it's hard to go find after it's done just because it gets lost in the scroll. So anyway, we're going to add it to YouTube, and then again, we'll add some of the audio content to the Activation Nation podcast. So that's that. That's the housekeeping. We'll get that out. That's out of the way. Now we're going to talk about the meat of it, why we're actually here tonight. And it's really to talk about this study between liquid collagen and Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer, right?
It is.
So Lisa's going to do the majority of this. I'm going to pepper a couple of questions. She's on her laptop. She's actually looking at slides. When you guys are watching this, you're seeing the slides. But you take it away. I'm going to ask a couple of questions as we're going. Yeah. But I believe to set this up, you're going to talk about each product individually, and then quickly we're going to segment into the study.
Exactly. Just in case there's those that aren't familiar with our products, we want you to understand why we were even looking at this combination, because there's a reason we picked these 2 products. Yep. And so first it's starting with our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer. It's that flagship product, and there's a reason that it's our flagship product. It has a fantastic activation story, and for those of you, if you don't know what activation is, there's an Activate Thursday. That was 2 weeks ago, right?
Probably.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's on the YouTube playlist that you can get an in-depth look at what that is. But it's essentially partnering with your body's natural processes that have slowed down with time and really igniting them so that you can really improve your health by just partnering with your body's natural processes. So it has a very strong story where it activates your body's own natural antioxidant pathways, which really helps protect it from oxidative stress, which comes from many different formats: what you eat, the environment around you, pretty much everything surrounding you. Yeah. You're surrounded by oxidative stress. And we've shown it through studies that it actually reduces oxidative stress by 40% in just 30 days. That's that kind of hallmark claim with our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer. And it's backed by over 30 studies. Name an institution, they probably have done a study on this product. it's kind of interesting to have that third-party outside validation. People hear about the story of this product and want to test it in their own circumstances. And so we have tons of publications that keep coming out about the validity of this product. So just a solid cornerstone product that's been the hallmark of our product line. So when we're starting to look at what we want to do, that's a solid place to start. But then when you start thinking about another hallmark product of LifeVantage, you have to go to True Science Liquid Collagen. Definitely not as historied as our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer that's been around for a bit. It's just had its year birthday, so it's still pretty new, but it's made an impact in the time that it's been there.
Yeah.
I mean, with its activate, replenish, and maintain story, activate collagen, replenish the collagen, and then maintain that collagen, that leads to visual results. Those before and after pictures are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And really, you just can take one look at them and you believe in this product.
And what's really interesting with those two products, if you look at them together side by side, really entirely different benefits.
Completely.
That's not to say different consumers, but really two very different things. You've got one that's dealing with cellular fatigue, oxidative stress,
Correct.
cellular issues, and DNA damage, and everything that comes with oxidative stress. And then you've got another one that the way we rolled it out, and the way we've talked about it, and the way it's been perceived, is very much can be thought of as a beauty product.
Exactly. Look at your face and how it's aged, or through stress or UV damage or anything that's surrounding it. Look at how it's aged. Try this product.
Yeah.
Look at the transformation.
Yeah, smooths out the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles.
Exactly.
It restores that healthy glow to the skin.
Exactly. We've talked about collagen density
Yeah.
that increases. I mean, you're just making your skin just more resilient.
And so what looks like two very separate, unrelated products, which in a sense they are.
Yes, there's some lines you can draw as a scientist. I started thinking about the two and I'm like, oh, what causes collagen to degrade in your skin, so that structure to degrade? Stress. So there's some lines you can make there, but it's not the most obvious connection to everybody.
Yeah, so partnering those two together is not the obvious decision. Like
Correct.
pulling those two together and using them together, not that obvious.
Correct.
And there were a number of reasons that we did it. There are a number of reasons we partnered them. One, just because the sheer adoption of Nrf2.
Exactly.
Right? It's our flagship product. We knew that by coupling that with collagen, there would be better adoption of collagen. People
Agreed.
would be more apt to promote it and more apt to use it if it was partnered with Nrf2. But then what was really interesting, I think, for all of us was the feedback that we started to receive from those that were using that bundle or that tandem of those two products. The thought was, one's going to provide oxidative stress, one's going to provide, again, that healthy look to the skin. And the feedback was that, but then it was so much more like, this is doing more than just helping me look better or reducing my oxidative stress levels. It's doing something else.
Something very tangible. Because the way we talked about this pairing was really, honestly, we put the benefits of each product on a sheet and just touted both. Because we're like, hey, we know if you take this product, you get this, and this product, you get that. And it was very separate benefits.
Yep.
Focused on the glow for liquid collagen and then the oxidative stress really for Nrf2.
Yeah.
But then we started hearing the stories and it was, I started using this combination and my joints started feeling better or my gut started feeling better or my mental kind of fog was clearing.
Yeah.
And we're like,
There's something
here, which is always really exciting when you're on the research side, because when you see unexpected benefits, your brain, and if you've done enough patents, you're like, maybe there's something there that's no one's ever seen before, which is incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
And so we started hearing those results, and we're like, we need to look into this a little more closely, because something's obviously happening there.
Yep.
And then thankfully we have the support of our company where when we have these research questions, they're like, oh, yes, with this combination, it makes sense. Let's put some money into investigating why we're seeing these fantastic results.
Yeah.
And we got to do the research. And it was pretty dang fantastic. We were really excited.
Okay, I'm deviating from so we kind of put together a game plan before we start these things, and I think I'm going to deviate.
It's okay.
She's so used to it, you guys.
I really am.
I do this all the time.
What are you throwing at me?
Yeah. Okay, so you're like, all right, we've got two products that seemingly unrelated, but we're getting some remarkable results, just like responses from consumers.
Exactly.
And those responses from the consumers started echoing one another, right? It was kind of the same feedback.
Exactly. There's patterns.
Yeah, okay, good, perfect word. I said echo, you said pattern. It's pattern, right? So there's patterns in the responses, then the feedback that we're receiving. And so you put together a study.
Correct.
Right? Talk about that just a little bit, because that, how do you approach that? What do you do to approach? How are we going to, measure, look into, explore, validate that these two products are actually truly doing something synergistically that we wouldn't otherwise anticipate?
Well, one of the ways that we decided to do our initial look was to do an in vitro study. So in vitro kind of means it's in a cell culture versus an actual human clinical. Mm-hmm. It allows us the opportunity to really look at gene expression and see what products are impacting either positively or negatively, moving up or down. And so we decided to do a type of study called RNA sequencing. Mm-hmm. And in the past, we've done very targeted gene expression. If you've seen any of the results on our tri-synergizer combination that we just got a patent on this year, you would see that we did very targeted gene expression. We knew what we wanted to look at, and we specifically targeted those genes, looked at how they were impacted. Perfect. However, with this combination, we had the anecdotal stories, but we didn't know exactly what our target would be. Yeah. So we decided to go with a different approach that would be a little bit more of a bigger scope.
Broader, right?
Broader and more exploration. Because what RNA sequencing allows you to do is you pick a cell type, and then you can actually see every single gene that's expressed either positively or negatively, goes up or down, by a product. Everything. And also the software with this testing allows you to group those different genes that you look at into pathways. So you can start telling a story of how all of these genes are connected and what they may be impacting. So essentially it was like a treasure hunt to see what all was being impacted by this combination. So that was first, what type of study we do, or what are we going to do? Not targeted, because we didn't know exactly what we were looking for at this point. Some hints, but we wanted to leave it open. Yep. And then,
I think that's important, right? Because you didn't try to determine what it was and then go out and do the study to prove it. It was truly exploratory.
Exactly.
Let's for lack of a better term, make this really broad and look at everything. I realize it's not everything, but look at everything.
It was all the genes expressed, so it was tens of thousands of lines of data in Excel.
Yeah.
It was an insane amount of data that we received from this, because what we didn't want to do is limit the scope of what we were looking at to just what our imaginations could comprehend.
Yeah.
We wanted to see the full picture so that we could see if there was anything unexpected happening that were causing these benefits that were being reported.
That takes extreme humility, because the opposite is you can just go in with arrogance and say, I know what's happening, test it, not come back with a result, and then just abandon it.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's how I've always approached science, unless there's a very specific goal that I need to do, which that targeted gene expression works great for that. But things like this, yes, you just need to admit, I don't know how everything's connected and how it's working together with these products. Let's explore.
But I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Exactly. Mine the data. Mine the data. So that was number one, is figuring out what type of study we wanted to do, something broader.
Yep.
Second was, what cell type do we even do this study in? Because for Nrf2 studies, we've done liver, we've done kidney, we've done endothelial, just based on what goal we were looking at. But for this one, we decided to go with a different cell type, and we decided to go with fibroblasts.
Yeah. So it's okay. We need to define what a fibroblast is,
Very much so.
why it's important, and then once you define that, then we need to understand why did you choose that.
Exactly. So essentially what fibroblast cells are is they provide kind of structure to different connective tissues throughout your body. So think everywhere in your body that has connective tissue, your heart, your blood vessels, your gut, your skin, your bones, everywhere that has any sort of connective tissue involvement, fibroblasts are a part of it. And you may be a little familiar if you've heard us talk about our True Science liquid collagen. We do have some studies where we looked at the key ingredient in that formula on fibroblast cells, specifically for collagen production.
Because fibroblasts are I don't want to state this as a fact. It's more of a question. The fibroblast cell is responsible for collagen production.
And that is correct.
Right?
So it can be stated as a fact.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and so actually with our collagen alone, we've seen collagen density increased because collagen was produced by these fibroblasts, and it increased by 100%, which was amazing.
So it's clear why you would look at fibroblasts studying liquid collagen. That is somewhat obvious. Why? But is it also obvious with Nrf2?
If you think to what Nrf2 is working on, oxidative stress, and you think what all does oxidative stress impact, it's going to be all the systems of your body. So it makes sense to pick a cell type that's very it's
prevalent. It's
prevalent
throughout the
body.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because once again, it's allowing kind of painting those broad strokes so that we can see the biggest impact. Because if you see the impact in fibroblasts, you can start imagining, okay, well, they're found here and they're found here and they're found here. And you're like, oh goodness, what a big impact these two products are having.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so anything else about the study?
I think that's enough to start with.
Okay. So you decide the type of study, and then what are we going to target? We're going to target fibroblasts. We're going to look at those, and we're going to look at the genetic gene expression through all aspects of the cell.
Correct.
Right? And as you said, 14,000 plus rows of data that came back, that somehow we need to make meaning of all of this data at this point. Okay. And I think what stood out fairly quickly is that there are some synergies between these two products.
Correct.
And synergies specifically as it relates to a fibroblast cell.
Correct. Yes. So we saw some specific results with Nrf2, some very specific results with liquid collagen, but then when we put the two together, there were new pathways impacted significantly that we got incredibly excited about.
New pathways that were activated, meaning they were either upregulated or downregulated.
Correct.
And I think in this case, downregulated.
Some were upregulated, some were downregulated, because it's a balance of different systems. But yes,
okay.
Primarily downregulated.
And these were pathways that, when looked at individually, when we were just looking at how were they impacted with liquid collagen or how are they impacted with Nrf2, in most cases, they weren't.
Not significantly at all.
So now the combination of those two products together is having so we've joked about this, but it's literally 1 + 1 = 3.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Nrf2 is doing something, liquid collagen is doing something.
And then you get
Bring
this
them
third
together.
unexpected benefit.
Third unexpected benefit. Okay. Any more on the study? Let's talk then. Let's just kind of push pause if we can.
Oh, actually, I am going to say one more thing before we move on.
Let's not push pause.
Let's rewind. Let's rewind a little bit. It's
rolling.
just going to be one statement real quick, because one of the exciting things that came from the data that we got was that we actually had exciting enough results that this combination is now patent pending.
Okay.
So I just want to note that right now, just to kind of build excitement a little bit even more. And just as a reminder, if you don't know what it takes to get something patented, it's not just coming up with something new and just being like, that's pretty cool, I'm going to get that patented. First of all, it's a multi-year process, but secondly, there has to be surprising, unexpected benefits. Because you can't just patent something that's 1 + 1 = 2.
Okay.
It has to be a 1 + 1 = 3.
Something that would not be anticipated or expected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's an incredibly exciting piece of this, is that the results were unexpected enough that we were able to pursue that patent pending status.
And for the consultants or even customers that are watching, well, as a scientist, that's very exciting because that's something novel. Like
it's discovery.
You've done and found something that is very unique.
Exactly.
Very encouraging as a scientist. very encouraging, like as a consultant or a customer, because like it's an added benefit that you're that unaware of.
Exactly.
That these products are providing.
And we're the only ones that are offering that benefit in
Yeah.
these two forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we can press
Now we
pause.
can push pause?
Yeah, just had to note that real
All
quick.
right. Now we're going to push pause. We're going to push pause because we need to understand what a fibroblast cell is. We know that it's related with all connective tissue, and it helps generate or collagen production in the body, build connective tissue. But as we're looking at, before we dive into what that means, as far as that, these certain pathways were upregulated and some of them downregulated, we need to understand, because ultimately at the end of the day, what we want to be able to say is, okay, this new unique benefit is solving a problem.
Exactly.
So let's set up the problem. What is the problem, so that when we actually talk about the actual results, it's clear there is a meaningful benefit, and a benefit that is highly desirable, provides a benefit to a problem that literally everyone that's watching this tonight deals with.
Yes, very much
right?
so.
And in some cases, it's a problem that is occurring in the body. You're more than likely aware of the impact, but not necessarily the reason why. I'm being very vague. So let's
we'll jump into
let's
it
jump
a
into
little
it.
bit more.
Let's jump into it.
And so I think what we have to start with first is the cellular stress response.
Okay.
So your body's made up of different types of cells, over 200 cells, and fibroblasts are one of those key cells that are found throughout your body in all the different connective tissues. And they all respond to stress, because we all face stress every day from different forms. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Mm-hmm. Stress from your food you eat, the environment, etc. You're surrounded by stress. And a normal, healthy cell stress response would be the cell faces the stress, the cell takes care of the stress, the cell relaxes, repairs, recovers, recuperates. Mm-hmm. It has maintenance so that it can then face the next stress. So it's this beautiful cycle of kind of reacting to the stress, communicating with other cells that there's a stress so they can have a response as well, taking care of the stress, mm-hmm. and then calming down.
So I think
that's normal.
Yeah. So that's normal. And maybe just a real world example so that yes. So that it's really clear. This is the one that I think of. Exercise. Right?
Yes.
Exercise, weightlifting, right? I think everybody can relate to weightlifting. Whether you do it or don't do it, you understand what it is. It is, in its purest form, a stress
Correct.
On the body.
Correct.
Right? It stresses the body out, and in this scenario, it's a good thing, right?
Exactly.
You lift weights, the body is stressed, the muscle fiber, the tissue, even the cells within the muscles, they are stressed, they respond to the stress, and they improve or mm-hmm. prepare the body for the next time that stress comes.
Exactly.
Right? And that's by pure definition, right? That's what strength is, right? It's preparing it for the future, for the next time that stress or that insult is introduced to the body.
And that's a great example.
Okay.
A little stress, the body responds to it healthily. Mm-hmm. The body repairs and prepares itself for the next time it would experience that stress.
Yeah.
Completely healthy. It actually makes the body stronger.
Yeah.
So a little stress, because you've heard a little stress will make you stronger.
A little stress makes you stronger.
Yeah.
So the issue then, and here's where the real problem is, it's that cellular stress response when that spins out of control.
Correct.
Or becomes imbalanced.
Exactly.
So talk to that, why that happens, and maybe a little bit about what that means for the individual. And I think it literally, I can't be more clear on this. Everybody that's watching is dealing with that right now.
Exactly.
This very moment, there are some systems or cells within the body that have spun out of control.
This hyperreactivity.
Yeah, so maybe help, what does that mean?
Yeah, so essentially what that means is that as the cells face the stress and they respond mm-hmm. and they communicate to the other cells, they never get into that part of the cycle that's rest, repair, recuperating, and preparing mm-hmm. for the next stress. Because they are overreacting to the signaling and they are constantly thinking they are at stress, even if they may not be. So
Okay.
they're not being able to kind of have that downtime.
Yeah.
They're constantly signaling out to other cells, which are then constantly signaling out to other cells, and they're constantly telling all the cells, we're still at stress, we're still at stress, you need to respond, you need to be heightened, you need to be like fighting this battle. And so your cells are so focused on that battle that they're not able to perform their best. They're actually going to start getting run down.
So it's like that individual, right? And I think we can all relate to this. It's the individual that is not cellular stress, just stressed out. Life is hard. There's a lot going on, right?
Yes.
I'm stressed. And to use your words earlier, you talked about like just calming down or chilling out, just relaxing and
Yes.
just taking a
Having
deep breath.
coping mechanisms for the stress.
Yeah, and so a lot of us, so we're stressed, we're freaking out, we're doing whatever, and we need to take the chill pill and just chill out, calm down, take a deep breath, relax, and everything becomes more manageable. But in this case, with this cellular stress response, there is no chilling out.
Correct. There's no coping mechanisms.
And so if you can imagine what you would feel like if you're just constantly on edge, constantly stressed, constantly going and can't calm down.
Exactly.
Imagine that, but at the cellular level, and it can't calm down, and it's just spinning out of control, and it's trying to fight against a stress or an insult that's no longer present.
Exactly, because it's been taken care of, but what the cells are missing is that we've done our mission. It's time to move on to the next part of our cycle. They just constantly are kind of badgering each other on,
Yeah.
so they think that there's still a stress.
Okay, so help those that are watching tonight or those that are listening understand just downstream. So the cells are spun out of control.
Correct.
They're not calming down. We don't really feel our cells spinning out of control. So, but what is it that we would notice? Like if I'm dealing with that today, what might I notice? And I realize there's a multitude of different issues and people are going to respond differently, but what might I be feeling?
Yeah, so
or noticing?
Yeah, so one of the things if you kind of think back a little bit to what we were saying, some of the benefits that people were stating with the combination of Nrf2 and collagen, you could start just feeling a lot of discomfort in your gut.
Okay.
Because your cells, your fibroblasts, or whatever cell types that are within your gut that are making it up, are constantly thinking that it's something there needs to battle at. So it's constantly in a state of discomfort.
Yep.
Or you can think about it as maybe your joints, because that's
Okay.
another example of connective tissue, where it's constantly just achy. And sore.
Yeah.
And you're just never feeling like you're at peak performance with your joints. You just feel like you can't do the things you want to do.
Okay.
So you're just feeling it that way.
Okay, so like upset tummy or gut, not upset tummy, but just uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Joints might be achy or like just not performing right.
Exactly.
Couple more examples.
Yeah, brain fog as well.
Okay, brain fog, brain fatigue, I guess.
Exactly, because you have these same sorts of cells that make up your brain as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we mentioned earlier that it could be with cells. I mean, fibroblasts are found in your heart and your blood vessels, so you could be noticing that in some of the functionality
Okay.
in that area as well.
So the cells, this cellular stress response or the cellular stress cycle and the cells spinning out of control, it is a common thing everyone deals with.
Correct. In some way or form, and it shows itself differently for different people. Like we mentioned just a second ago, there's lots of different ways that it can present itself.
Yeah, and left unaddressed, I mean the issues could be fairly significant.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right?
You're going to be slowly wearing out these systems where
Yeah.
these fibroblast cells, what they make up.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we associate that with aging.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
associate it with aging.
Everything's just slowly losing function, and we just kind of accept that. I think we talked a little bit about this last time when we were talking about activation. We're so quick to accept, oh, it's just aging.
Yeah,
But should we?
yeah,
Should we be accepting that everything's not functioning the way it should?
Yeah.
And we're saying you shouldn't accept that.
So root cause is this cellular stress cycle has spun out of control.
Exactly.
And I think all too often our approach is Band-Aid, right?
Oh, yes.
Just dealing with the symptoms. Well, like, kind of, I'm kind of achy or whatever, so take aspirin or Tylenol or whatever.
Correct.
And we just kind of a Band-Aid
But you never get
approach
to the
it.
root of it. And so you're constantly dealing with the issue over and over again, and then you just become a chronic user of
Yeah.
these like different either drugs or other solutions without ever feeling like longer term relief.
Yeah.
It's all short term.
So, okay. Well, the problem is significant.
Exactly.
And it can lead to just additional cellular damage and DNA damage and a whole host of
exactly.
whole host of issues that we like. There's just a number
That'll
of
just
significant
yeah,
issues.
exactly. That'll keep cells from performing the way they should because they're not replicating the way they should, etc.
And keep us from performing the way we should.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It all trickles down.
Okay, so all right, that's the problem. Tell us what the study told us about the cellular stress.
And one thing
cycle.
we'll need to note too about the cellular stress cycle is that there is a master switch, and it's called NF-kappa B. You don't need to know too much about it except that it's the master switch that really helps control the body's cellular stress response. So it senses a stress, and it then sends out signals to all of your other fibroblast cells, your other tissues throughout your body, and it receives them, and it keeps sending around signals throughout your body, perpetuating this stress response. So it's the master switch that you need to ensure is impacted if you really do want to make a difference in this cellular stress response, if you want to break that cycle.
Okay.
So you need to know that before we get to the results. Otherwise, you're like, there's a bunch of gene names, and I don't know why it's important. So NF-kappa B, just know, master switch. If you're going to break the stress cycle, you need to impact it.
Okay.
So then we can get into the results with the combination. Once again, noting that these targets were not impacted significantly with either of the products on their own. Not downgrading any of the individual products on their own. They're both fantastic. That's why we went over the results at the beginning to show that they're just superstars on their own. But now we get this 1 + 1 = 3. And so the first thing that we saw is that NF-kappa B is a complex. So it's not just one protein. It's actually made up of multiple proteins. It's a complex.
Okay.
And so signaling needs to happen to actually create all those pieces of NF-kappa B to be able to then to impact the cellular stress response. So the first thing that we noted is that the genes that encode for those pieces of NF-kappa B were downregulated. So to put it simply, NF-kappa B, stress, like that master switch, it's made up of multiple pieces, needs to be all together to actually work.
Okay.
We create less pieces of NF-kappa B because there's a downregulation of the genes that would do that. So there's less NF-kappa B. So less sources of this master switch that will perpetuate stress. So this molecule, this complex that actually communicates stress throughout your body, downregulated.
So it stops that. So downregulating the NF-kappa B.
The pieces that make it up,
The
yes.
pieces that make it up, downregulating those pieces that comprise NF-kappa B, by downregulating those, that is essentially the just chill out,
It is a chill out.
calm down.
Less,
You're not under attack.
exactly.
Everything is okay.
Exactly.
The stress that was present has been dealt with.
And let's
You
balance your response.
You don't need to continue to respond to this
Exactly.
stress.
Let's have a healthy stress response. You have enough response happening.
Yeah.
We don't need more.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's doing. So less pieces to make up this complex.
Mm-hmm.
The second set of results we have, tons of genes, and you're going to see them on the graph here. We don't need to go into what each of them do because that's too deep of dive. Essentially, all you need to know is that these are genes that actually put those pieces of the NF-kappa B complex together.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like the little workers that are building the complex. So
Yeah.
first we created less pieces, and now we have less workers to put together the pieces into this master switch.
Yeah.
So once again, same kind of end goal of telling the cells, you have enough cells to respond to this. There's enough signaling happening. We're good. calm down. There's a chill pill. And the way to really prove that we are having that effect is to look at the signaling. Because we said this NF-kappa B master switch, what it does is it signals throughout the body to all the different tissues and alerts of this threat. So if we're doing it correctly, we should see a downregulation of those signals as well, which would also, once again, tell the cells to chill out. And we see that with multiple cytokines or chemical signaling molecules that would be produced by NF-kappa B. So we're really tracing it throughout the entire process. Less building blocks for this master switch, less workers building the switch, and as a result, less signaling. So we're being able to break that cellular stress cycle and allow the cells in the body downtime, that time to chill, the time to relax and not be at that hyper-reactive state.
Yeah.
And just be able to repair, rejuvenate, and prepare for when there is legitimate stress to come.
It's like cellular self-care.
Exactly. It's a little bit of therapy for them. You're giving them the tools to know, here's how we deal with stress. Here's how we now, have that self-care, that relaxation, so that we're stronger for even the next time we face the stress. And we keep responding better. Instead of having that spiral of responding worse and worse and worse every single time. I mean, we can all think about it when we've dealt with stress. Like you mentioned earlier, and we all have felt it personally. If you're constantly under stress, you're going to start responding to it worse and worse and worse over time because you're just wearing down.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good point.
you're just, and that's kind of how your cells are. If they're constantly responding to the same thing over and over and over again, they're going to get frustrated and they're just going to get worn down. And their response is just going to be worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And that's really what this is doing, is saying, okay, you've responded. Good job. Rest so that your next response can be just as good as your last response. Each time that you're responding is efficient. You do what you need to do. You've taken care of that threat. Now you can recover and prepare for the next one.
So this helped to answer the question and validate those responses, the consumer responses that had a pattern
100%.
right, of why they were feeling the way they were feeling.
Exactly.
Right, so they were receiving the benefit of the product before we even realized that the product could provide that
Exactly.
benefit, or the product combination, which is remarkable in and of itself. Let's talk a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
There are so we've got a product combination between liquid collagen and Nrf2 now that effectively address the cellular stress response and help it to calm down so that those cells and the related systems can begin to operate at an optimal level.
Correct.
Do what they're supposed to do. What are other approaches that people might take to try to address this cellular stress cycle?
Yeah, so people do try other sources of short-term stress to try to break the stress cycle. So you can think of like intermittent fasting or like cryotherapy, so like dipping in a cold tub and trying to kind of deal with the response of cellular stress in that way and kind of try to break it.
So contrast therapy.
Contrast therapy, exactly.
Well, cryo too, but contrast, that hot cold, right? So sit in a sauna, get really hot, then in the cold plunge, right, at 40, 48 degrees, whatever.
Exactly.
And we know that they're fairly popular, right? It's a thing that's trending that people are familiar with. People are putting saunas in their home, and red light saunas and just traditional like steam or heat seat saunas, and then these cold plunges. And I think everybody that has done that, they've experienced some type of benefit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right?
I mean, and there's been research out there showing the benefits of these, and there's more and more research that comes every day. But it's not the most convenient or the most accessible.
Yeah, like it's a good that. So there's a company here in Utah. We're based in Utah, and they do contrast therapy, and I love it. Right, it's remarkable. It's almost meditative for me. Sit in the sauna, and then get in this cold plunge. Great. I don't know that the science is all there. It may be. I don't know. I'm certain that somebody has studied it and they've come back with some results. But to your point, the convenience of it is not there, right?
Exactly.
Like it's expensive, right? It's anywhere from $30 to $50 per session.
There's time.
yeah, I got to travel there. Like, you know, it
Even
might
if
be
you have it on your own, if you own it and you've been able to purchase it and had the resources to purchase it, it's still the time to do the therapy as well.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, this cellular stress cycle that gets spun out of control, that's not a one and done thing, right?
No.
So if you're practicing contrast therapy, it's something that you have to be consistent at.
Oh,
and
exactly.
do
You
on a
can't
regular
just treat
basis.
it once and just do the therapy once and just be like, oh, all my problems are taken care of. It would need to be a way of life.
Yeah, which is fine if you've got the means and the resources
Exactly.
and the time to do it. But
Exactly.
it's highly inconvenient. It's expensive at
I mean,
that
that's the
point.
first thing that pops into my head is the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have kids or any other work, anything else going on with your life, just trying to find the time to even just
Yeah.
do the normal functions is hard enough, besides adding something else on top of it, even if you know that it would be beneficial to you.
Yeah, and when you compare that to the Healthy Glow Essential Stack, which like if you were to add up every time you went to participate in contrast therapy, like if you install it in your home, right, you're thousands and thousands
yeah.
of dollars in a remodel and all of that. Or if you're going to an organization or a business that provides that,
You're paying each time.
yeah, right. I mean, that can get into, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of dollars a month just to do it, plus the inconvenience, plus the time required to do it. Healthy Glow Essential Stack is going to address the cellular stress response,
Yep.
get it calmed down at a highly, I mean, in that scenario, comparing those two, the Healthy Glow Essential Stack is far more affordable.
Well, exactly. And the convenience, I mean, I literally will take my
It's-
Nrf2 with my liquid
Yeah,
collagen. It's just one shot.
seconds a day, and
Exactly.
you're done.
And it's delightful too. I mean, if you haven't tried the True Science liquid collagen, you need to, because it's amazingly delicious. So not only are you getting the benefits, it's actually just really nice to take. We were talking about it earlier in a meeting where we're like, it's actually a treat.
It's just enjoyable
to have
Yeah.
that like people on our staff just look forward to having each day.
Yeah.
So that's a benefit too. So it's short. It's not a lot of time commitment. It's like a nice little treat for your day, and you're getting all these benefits that are so extensive.
Yeah. Can you speak to that a little bit? The benefits that are extensive. So someone maybe that's, you know, watching tonight that's not using the Healthy Glow Essential Stack.
Yeah.
And this is going to be hard because everybody is unique and everybody's a little bit different. But let's assume that somebody's not using it and they begin using it and begin taking the products consistently,
Yes.
day in and day out. And the cellular stress response has chilled out.
Yes.
Right? What would they anticipate, like, noticing? What is that going to feel like for them?
Yeah. So like you said, it's definitely going to differ based on the person, but it might be something in that you notice that your skin is less reactive and less irritated. And that can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You're no longer experiencing some of the redness or whatnot, or it's just not hurting. Or maybe you just constantly have gut problems and it just doesn't feel normal. There's a lot of discomfort there.
Yep.
And you can think of just how that can ruin your day. And so you see that start to calm down and start to come back more into balance. Or if you go exercise, I'm a runner, and I'm getting in my upper 30s. So now when I run prior to taking this, like, it just takes a little longer to recover. And so you can expect to maybe recover a little faster.
Yeah.
Not be quite as sore, so that your life is not as interrupted when you do these things that are healthy for you, like exercise.
Yeah, oh, I love that. Your life is not as interrupted.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask about the exercise piece or talk about it, because that's where I've noticed it, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm pretty active and pretty fit and work out quite a bit. And you're in your upper 30s, I'm in my upper 40s. And that recovery, which I used to think was a bunch of nonsense when,
Of course.
when guys would tell me that they
When
just
we were in
don't
our
recover, I was
20s,
like,
yeah.
Whatever, that's just a cop-out. And then I got to my 40s and realized this is not a cop-out, that's legit. But it's almost like I'm not going to say I'm back to my 20s and recover, but like I just, like post-exercise fatigue, soreness, lack of recovery, stiffness, like all of those things that I deal with post-exercise, like I'm not dealing with it in the same way that I was
Exactly.
prior to using the Healthy Glow Essential Stack.
Exactly.
Like I am able to, like, I'm push harder, but more importantly, like I worked out hard this morning. I know I'm going to be ready to go tomorrow morning.
Yes, exactly.
Which prior to Healthy Glow Stack was not the case.
I know, you kind of dread that next morning because
would-
you're like, I'm going to be so sore.
I would hit it hard, and then I'd be like, I need a recovery day.
Yeah, when I'd be in like marathon prep, it'd be the exact same way. I'm just like, oh, I know I'm going to need to run that 10 miles tomorrow, and I'm still sore from the last 5 miles I did yesterday.
Yeah.
And so just being able to perform at your peak with shorter recovery time,
Yeah.
and just so, and you can apply that to lots of different places, but yeah, that's where it's hit me the most
Yeah.
personally. But I also just think too, I'm like, if you're even older than us and things are starting to get a little stiff to move, just trying to walk around can be so difficult, or just do some of the simple things. So just a little boost there to be able to feel more comfortable and less stiff, and be able to just walk around the block with your dog or play with your grandchildren. It's just such a big quality of life improvement.
We take movement for granted.
Yes,
we
very
all do.
much so.
And when you lose it, you recognize just how much you take it for granted. And the
Agreed.
fact that we've got a product that's lending itself to a better quality of life, to a more active lifestyle, because your systems have chilled out, the cells have chilled out.
They've gotten a chance to recover,
Yeah.
prepare for that next
Everybody
adventure.
can benefit from that.
Agreed.
Everybody can
Agreed.
benefit
And
from
with
that.
movement, even just being one facet of it. Once again, you need to think that the cell type is everywhere connective tissue is.
Yeah.
And then connective tissue is everywhere.
Yeah.
So if your whole body and different systems are just chilling out and being able to recuperate the way they should and get to that optimal function, what a difference that can make.
Yeah, when you mentioned like cardiovascular heart, because that's the fibroblasts are there.
Because I mean, literally, fibroblasts help regulate your heartbeat.
Yeah. So so in that scenario, or in that sense, then is there a proactive approach
Definitely.
to using these products?
I mean, even there's a proactive approach to skin as well, or any of these, because it's lending such structure and strength to these different tissues. That's what fibroblasts do. And so if we are ensuring that they are recovering properly, so we're not slowly losing function or losing collagen or whatever structural molecule it's producing, then we're not slowly losing function.
Yeah.
So there's a huge proactive piece to it. I mean, you can feel the benefits as things start improving, but maybe you don't even get there
Yeah.
because you're just taking care of what you've been given.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, remarkable. And maybe what I should say is congratulations. This is really, really cool.
We were incredibly excited. When I've been telling people about this study, I'm like, when we got the results back and saw like the top 10 genes that were kind of impacted by this combination, we were running down the halls and being like, look at what we found. We're like, Christina and I were like kids in a candy shop. We're like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So there definitely is a lot of sense of accomplishment and just excitement about what we've discovered with these two products together.
It's so remarkable. It's absolutely incredible. It's provided an incredible benefit and value to all of our consultants that are watching tonight, to the customers that are using the product. Provide an incredible benefit to the organization as a whole.
Agreed.
Thank you for being diligent in the study, for approaching it with humility and wanting to truly learn and understand, and then to be able to do that and come back and find the results that you did it's absolutely remarkable. So
well, I'm going to turn it also to my team. So Dr. Christina Beer, she spent weeks and weeks and weeks in the depths of the data, pulling out treasures, so she deserves all the praise too. She has put in some time with this one.
Yeah, no, she does, and I love that, and she'll be on that patent as well and listed there.
100%.
Some accolades there. So in the era of self-care, the fact that we have developed something and created something that provides cellular self-care,
exactly,
allowing those cells to just chill out, the systems to be able to recover. If I can say it that way, respond the way they are.
And not egg each other on, because I think that's a big piece of that too.
Yeah.
So it takes care of yourself, and you also aren't provoking others.
Yeah, is really incredible and remarkable. And at the end of the day, the greatest part about all of that is the benefit that it's providing to those that are using the product and are experiencing firsthand what we've been talking about.
Yes. Almost every single person that I've talked to that's been on this combination has had their own story.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've talked through, and this has been some of the people who got to hear about the results a little bit early because we were getting their thoughts on it, they've been like, that's what was causing it. Like, it was like this light bulb moment of they'd already been experiencing the benefits. Now they just understood why. And now they're like, okay, well, now I have to stay on this combination because it's what's been making this huge difference to my quality of life.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for joining us this evening, or if you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening and joining. Please, if this content was valuable or helpful in any way, share it with somebody else. If you're in the podcast, it's very easy to share. If you're watching this on Facebook, it's very easy to share. Or if you're seeing this on YouTube in the playlist, even easier. Share it with someone so that everybody understands the benefits of what these two products are and the benefit that they provide to that cellular stress response.
Yeah, and I think one thing we want to do before we kind of close is I think there's a quick summary of what these two products do together. 3 R's to help remember, because
I like it.
Those kind of mnemonic devices always help me remember things.
Yeah.
So we have the 3 R's. So we're helping our fibroblast cells. That's not the focus on, though. We're helping our cells reduce unnecessary signaling. So that's your first R. Recover from stress, and then restore that optimal function. Yeah. So if you need to think of 3 words to kind of help you kind of summarize what happened: reduce, recover, restore. And that can help you kind of think through the study.
Reduce, recover, restore.
Got it.
Reduce, recover, restore. Reduce, recover, restore. If there's anything you learned tonight or anything you remember, it's reduce, recover, restore.
Exactly, those 3 R's.
Perfect. Well, thank you for those that are listening, for those that are watching. Thanks for joining us. And again, a reminder, please share this with someone that could benefit from these products and that needs these benefits in their lives. Anything else?
I think we've covered a lot, and I've talked a ton. So I think
We got it?
Got it.
Reduce, recover, restore. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. And we will see you shortly in a couple weeks. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.